Hi guys, it's Lara. Thank you all for watching and welcome back to my channel. Today it's gonna be a very spontaneous chatty video, kind of a story time and also something to think about. And the noise you're hearing in the background is Shadow chewing his chew stick because he was a little bit complaining because it's raining today and he didn't want to go on a long walk, and now he didn't know what to do and he got a joystick and now he's all happy here on the sofa behind me. He's gonna probably leave us in a second anyway because he hates it when I talk to the camera. But just blend it out, ignore that sound. So anyway, today's video is about a short kind of an incident that happened today at the cashier register in a grocery store. So I went to buy a few groceries because there is a national holiday on Monday. Okay, probably like it's not national holiday. I think it's like a religious holiday. Couldn't even say that word. And so the stores are gonna be closed and today is Saturday, so I wanted to make sure that we have everything we need. I was already at the cashier register. There were 2 registers open and I was almost done. And at the second cashier register was working a guy who's been in the grocery store for so many years. He's always super friendly. And there was a customer who wanted to know something specific, so he was shortly talking to the guy because he simply had a few questions. So the guy was just doing his job. And then in the line that was standing at his cashier register, someone just started yelling, "Keep working, stop talking," like in a really condescending way. And he like looked at him like, "I'm sorry, I didn't understand you," because he didn't understand first since everybody's still wearing masks. So sometimes the words are kind of muffled. And the guy kept saying the same things, like that he should basically just shut up and keep working in a very condescending way. And the guy said like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but this guy had a question." And the guy kept bitching, so I just couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I said like, "What is this supposed to mean? He was just doing his job, just leave the guy do his job, right?" And then there was this lady behind me at the cashier register who said like, "Well, he's not being paid for like chatting." And I looked at her and I said like, you know, even if he were chatting, people can still talk to him in a normal way. This is very condescending. This is just not okay. Just stop bashing the guy. He's here working the whole day. So I was just shaking my head. It's just so rude. Like, honestly, I'm sometimes absolutely baffled by the entitlement, impatience, and lack of compassion that people sometimes have towards service workers. Can't even talk because I'm still so angry about this. So from my experience, because I've been working in services when I was younger, so I've been working as a lifeguard, I've been working as a waitress, then I was a bartender, and even though I got promoted to a bar manager, sometimes people were really rude to me because they felt like, "You're working in services, you're my servant." So that's the general idea of some people, and that's just so wrong. Just because someone's working in services, they are not our servants. It's a job, just like any other one. I don't care if anyone is a manager or a waitress or a cleaning lady or a lady who's waiting the toilet somewhere like the public toilets. I will treat these people the same and I will treat them with respect as long as they are treating me with respect. Because if someone's an asshole to me, I'm gonna be really making it, I'll make it clear that that's not okay. But like literally for me, it doesn't matter what a person does for a living as long as it's an honest job, right? And I just find it so horrible that some people just feel they are above service workers. So in all these years, working in services myself in the past and also going out later when I started working at the office, we literally defriended a person because she was rude to a waitress. I just can't with that person anymore after what I've seen. That's a whole another story for another video. But I just can't see people being rude and condescending and really hurtful to people working in services. I literally take it personally because I've been there. I've been doing these jobs. And I feel like people very often forget that, especially now during the pandemic, these were the people who still went to work every single day from the beginning. We didn't know what it was about the virus. No one knew how deadly or how dangerous it was. These were the people who were every single day at work. They are to this date wearing the mask the entire day, while people like the guy who was super impatient and complaining because the worker, the cashier, guy was shortly talking to someone who actually was a customer and had a legit question. These are the people who bitch about wearing the mask for just a few minutes, while this guy is standing in the store the entire day wearing the mask. He's been doing that for the entire time since the pandemic came, and he was doing his job. He's working his ass off. Long hours, because I know I go very often to the store, and he is still super friendly, always has a smile, always has kind words for others, and he just does not deserve to be treated like shit just because some guy feels like, oh, I should go faster through the cashier register. I think Shadow has something to say. What is it that you want to tell us, Shadow? Do you feel like you're not being treated fair here in this house? So I just opened the terrace door to the garden so that Shadow can go in and out as he pleases, because he's really not sure today what to do, but at least it stopped raining, so we're gonna go for a walk a little bit later. So anyway, back to the way how people are treating people working in services. As I said, I take it sometimes really personally, kind of, because I know how it feels when you are working your ass off, you being literally underpaid, because let's be honest, people working in services deserve way better wages than what they're getting, especially people like waitresses and waiters. I remember when I was working as a waitress, when I was working in the pool, I started working there as a lifeguard, and then I swapped and started working there in the restaurant, and that was the only company when I had a decent salary. But then later, when I swapped jobs, I started working in a bar, which was beautiful and it was super fancy. And yes, I earned well because I got the tips, and I also got some percentage of what we made each evening. But the basic salary was really not that good. So if I were sick and if I didn't have my tips and the percentage of the revenue that we made each evening, I honestly would be probably able to just pay my rent and some basic bills, but there would be like very little left. And that's just not okay, because I find that the whole system is really not great, especially in gastronomy, because I feel like waiters should have a proper salary, because it's a really hard, straining job and it's super stressful. And same goes for people working in the grocery store, because the guy that I was talking about, the cashier guy, I mean, people are not working just at the cashier register there. They actually kind of do all kinds of stuff, and they are also putting stuff in the shelves. And I was actually just talking with him a few minutes ago when I went through an aisle to get our favorite soy pudding, and he was putting some stuff there in the shelves, and he smiled. I couldn't really see the smile, but you see it on the eyes because he was wearing a mask. But he greeted me because he has known me for years now, and he had a few kind words for me, asked how I was doing. So I asked him how he was doing, and he said, yeah, you know, it's still the pandemic, so but he's okay, and his family is okay, and yeah, we just exchanged a few words. And I feel like the expectation of some people that these people go to work and they can't get even a minute breather is just so crazy. They are not slaves, you know. It must be okay for them to exchange a few words with a customer. And it's not like he's been like holding everybody up at the cashier register, because it was literally the customer just paid and had a few questions, and the guy just answered in his super friendly way as always. And honestly, like, the guy who was mad at him, he should think about that. What if he had some questions? He would be super happy if the guy took the extra minute, right? I don't know if you guys notice it too, but I feel like in the last years, our society got super impatient. Like, if there are 3 people at the cashier register, people start freaking out because they're like, oh no, this has to go faster. I remember when I was a kid, it was normal to stand in line. And I mean, I get it. If you are busy and if you are in a hurry to go to your job, then of course you want to go through as fast as possible through the cashier register. Well, how about planning the time a little bit better instead of taking your anger at the guy who's working there, you know? And I get it, sometimes it's really tough because some people also have very busy schedules. So I'm not judging necessarily, but I'm also kind of reminding ourselves that sometimes it's up to us how we manage our own time. And it's not the fault of the person who is at the cashier register if things don't go as fast as we would like to. I personally, when I go somewhere, I make sure that I plan well and that I always account for some extra time if the subway was late or if there were a line when I have to go to the store and things like that, because that's life, you know. Nothing goes always as smooth as we plan. And if people plan everything to the minute and feel like everything has to go according to their plan, then there's something wrong with their planning, because they're not accounting for the world around them. And this egotistical behavior is just something that makes me so sad. And I'm the type of person who always likes to stand up for herself, and I also like to stand up for others. So whenever I'm somewhere and see that people are treating workers shitty, I honestly stand up for them too, because I know that during the time when I was working in services, there were times when no one did that for me, and I'm just happy that I can be the person who does that for others. You guys, the life that I have today is so much better than anything I could have ever imagined. I'm so beyond grateful, but I used to be really poor, especially when I emigrated. I had so little money, and, you know, making it through the month was already a huge struggle for me sometimes. And on the top of that, sometimes people were super rude to me, and they made it sometimes very clear that they felt they were so much better than I was. And yeah, when I see something like that happening to others, I just feel like I have to stand up for these people, because I don't want them to feel the way I felt. The thing is, offering a smile, a few kind words, understanding and compassion, putting ourselves into some other people's shoes, that doesn't take much. It's actually super easy, especially when we make it a habit instead of being instantly rude and impatient. And I feel like people should really remind themselves of this and get off their high horses. Just because someone has a better salary than people working in services doesn't make them a better person. So it was really important to me that I would sit down and talk about this today, because that's something, again, I just, you know, I felt that when the rude guy kept going after the cashier guy, and especially since the lady standing behind me kind of started adding to that. This type of mob mentality is just so wrong on so many levels, and I don't keep my mouth shut when I see something like that. So you can let me know in the comments if you are someone working in services, and if you deal sometimes with rude people, and if you're not working in services, have you witnessed anything like that? And yeah, just let me know your thoughts down below. So that was it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you guys so much. If you are someone who's working crazy hours, and if you are dealing with rude people, know that I love you. I'm sending you a huge hug, and you deserve respect. You deserve being treated better. Just know that. And God bless you. See you soon. Bye.